Welcome back, everyone. I am now reporting from Summerlin, Las Vegas, but more on that in the next video. For this one, I have one session to take you guys through. On my last day in LA, I played a Hustler Casino. A little bit overzealous, wasn't playing my A game, and running a little bit bad, but taking you guys all along for the ride. I'll see you guys in the hands. Welcome to the hands. Here, take a look at this. This is where I'll be recording from the next month or so. We got the pool back there. All looks really, really nice. But let's get into it. This session was a bit tough. A lot of hands that were just like this one. 3-bet, whiff the flop, fold, top off another 100, open raise, and then get 3-bets. And then usually have to fold or gets the flop and check fold. My opponents were nice enough to show me they had a big pocket pair. At least like 80% of the time I got 3-bets, so that was also fun. But I still had a good time. It was a fun table. But we start this off playing some 2-5. I pick up the ace-king offsuit, looking at a cutoff raise to only 10. Button calls. I re-raise things to 50. It should probably be larger. And they both make the call. Off to a flop of jack 7-6, 2 hearts. Definitely need to start with a check here. Cutoff also checks. Now button bets 50. I thought I should fold in the moment, but 1/3 bet. It's really small, but I don't know. I still think I should have folded, but I call and cutoff folds. Off to the turn, which is the 6 of clubs. I check and my opponent checks behind. River is the 3 of clubs. It seems like he has a hand like 10s, 8s, 9s, something like that, that called the small cutoff open and then also called again. He could also have a hand like Queen Jack or Jack 10 suited, maybe 7-8s. I don't think 7-8 suited would bet the flop, but it might for that size. So I think I can apply a bit of pressure here. So I fired out a 2/3 bet of 185, and my opponent pretty much snap calls us. That's not good. We are losing the first hand to Queen Jack suited. All right, topped off my stack, back to battle. We are looking down an under the gun raise to 20, and I call next to act with Jack 10 suited. Could 3-bet here, but this isn't a squeeze happy table, so I'm more than happy to flatten position here. Big blind also calls. We're 3 ways to a flop of 9-7-7, 2 spades. We flop a gut shot, but it's not that great. So when it checks to me, I'm just going to check this one back. Turn is the 9 of diamonds. Once again, checks to me. Doesn't look like anyone has too much here, so I'm going to start bluffing here. My gut shot is definitely good if I do hit it, as well as my jack and 10 are probably live as well. So I bet 20. Only the original razor calls, so I think he's got a hand like ace high here. River is the ace. He looks like he kind of wants to lead out for like half a second out the corner of my eye, but then decides to check it over to me. I think he's definitely smashed this ace, something as strong as ace-king, and if I had a 9 here, I would bet really big, like really, really, really big. So I'm going to do the same with my bluffs here. I don't want to have missed spades because I do want him to have a missed flush draw that played it passively. So I think I'm going to gut shot here is probably my best hand to do this with, so you know what to do. I stick it all in, $460, 4.6x pot shove. My opponent doesn't even want to give it a thought and just mucks, so picking up a little pot there. Okay, we moved over to the 5-5 table. We are in for 1,000, lost a pot, so I'm down to 900, but that's okay. I have king 6 of hearts in the big blind, and I choose to defend. We're going 4 ways to the flop, which comes down 10-6-3, 1 heart, 2 spades, with a backdoor flush draw, overcard, middle pair, and it's a pretty disconnected flop that no one's really going to have anything too strong on. I check it over. Under the gun now bets 50, low jack calls, button folds, and over here, low jack, the best hand he can really have is a 10 here. He would definitely be raising his sets. Under the gun can still have, you know, pocket 10s, 6s, 3s, and overpairs, but since he's kind of sandwiched in between us, it's going to be really tough for him to make this call if I raise here and put some pressure on. Like, he is not in a good spot with an overpair here. So I do decide on the aggressive route, and I check raise to $200. The original raiser doesn't look happy about it, but folds, and then low jack snap shoves all in. For this price, $335 into what's going to be like $1,200. We have to call, unfortunately. I don't think he has a set, but it looks like he's got top pair. He's just going with it, so we toss in the call. I'm playing a $1,200 pot with middle pair. Turn is the 3 of clubs, river, jack of diamonds, no help. My opponent shows the 10-7 of spades. It's definitely one hand we're not going to get him off of. Off to a really rough start this session. All right, open up the 9-8 suited under the gun +2. We do get 2 callers, so we're going 3 ways to a flop of king 8-3 rainbow. We are in position though, so that's really nice. Both the blinds check it to me, and I'm just going to check this one back. Turn is the 5 of diamonds. Small blind now leads out for 35, about half pot. There's no option here. Call is the only way, so I toss in the call. We're off to the river, which is the 10 of clubs. Doesn't change too much. Now my opponent fires out for 75. It's another small bet. We only really lose to a king here. That's what he's saying with his bet. I don't know. I just don't believe it. The price is really good, so I toss in the call. My opponent shows the ace-jack offsuit. Picking off a bluff here. Maybe there's some momentum we need to get back in the right track. Okay, on to this next hand. We have a straddle, and the low jack is raised to 35. This player is quite conservative, so I think aggression is the best route here. I 3-bet him to 110 with the ace-10 offsuit. Folds back to him, and he's folded the last few 3-bets, but this time he does make the call. She's probably got a pretty decent hand here, you know, ace-king, probably pocket 10s plus, something like that. Flop comes down, 7-4-3 rainbow. When he checks it to me, I would usually think about checking this flop back. But against this player, I just don't think he's going to have those lower pocket pairs too often, like the 4s and 3s. He's probably just going to get rid of them pre-flop. He'll never have 5-6 suited. So the strongest hand he can have here is probably something like pocket queens, and I don't think he's going to call down pocket queens on a blank run out. Like, I just don't think he will. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go triple barrel, barring a terrible run out. So he checks it to me. I bet 65, and he makes the call. Off to the turn, which is the 5 of diamonds. It doesn't change anything. I don't think he has pocket 6s. I think he's got a pocket pair here between 9s and queens. And I definitely think we can get him off by the river. So he checks it to me. SPR is about 2, so we want to bet around 66% pot. I think it's like 200 something. I bet 250. A little bit large, but looks fine. And he goes in the tank for a bit, but ends up folding. So we're going to get that one through. Picking up another small pot here. On to the next hand. Button is open to 20, and from the small blind versus button, I play 3-bet or fold at these stakes. So I randomized 25% raise, 75% fold, landed on raise. So I make it 80, folds back to my opponent who makes the call. Off to a flop, which is king 4 deuce rainbow. Really good board for my range, and we do have some backdoors. So I start with a small bet of 55, and my opponent makes a call. Off to a really nice turn, 6 of spades. It's not really going to improve any of my opponent's hands, unless he has king 6 suited. I don't think he has 4-6 suited, but we do pick up an open-ender, so this card pretty much means we're probably going to have to triple off here. Not having spades is really nice as well, so I fired a bet of 150, and my opponent thinks for a bit, and he doesn't even think for a bit. He pretty much snap calls this, but we're off to the river, which is the queen of spades. The queen is one of my least favorite cards, and I really thought that I should give up the bluff at this point. Like, king-queen is just such a huge part of his range, right? My ace-king and my aces are no longer going for value anymore. So I do need to drop quite a few bluffs. But this is, like, pretty much nut low. And nut low is usually, like, close to a mandatory bluff, but I still think that I can get away with just not bluffing here very often at all. But I went for it. I ship it all in, and unfortunately my opponent did have king-queen. And we are going to lose another big pot. Moving things along, we pick up ace-queen offsuit, the straddle is live, and the player that folded versus our ace-10 has limped. A little bit worried because I haven't seen him limp before, but I've got ace-queen, so I raise up to 50, folds back to him, and he makes the call. Off to a really nice flop of ace-3 deuce 2 spades. He checks to me, and honestly, I'm really worried about pocket 3s and pocket 2s here. A limp calling range from a conservative type player is generally going to contain a lot of small pocket pairs. But I still have ace-queen, so I start with a bet of 35, and my opponent makes the call. So pretty nice he didn't raise. I'd probably just fold right away. Turn is the 8 of diamonds. He checks it to me, and I kind of wanted to play some pot control, but it's ace-queen. We're still pretty strong. I don't know. I just don't think he's calling pocket 9s or like 4s through 7s now. But we could possibly get them to... He's not going to bluff river, but I don't know. I don't know about this decision, but I go ahead and bet 160, doesn't take for long, and makes the fold. I don't know, I think we're only getting called by better with this bet. How do I think about it? I don't really like it, and I think that maybe we can get some small value on a blank river. I don't know. Okay, the under the gun straddle is live, and I have pocket 2s next to act. I raise things up to 30. The lady to my left, who has 3-bet me like 4 times in the last 5 orbits with pocket queens and kings. Looks like she wants to do it again. I don't think I'm deep enough to call, but she does settle on just a flat and invites quite a few players in. So we are now going 4 ways to the flop, which comes down 7, deuce, deuce. We flop quads. I think about betting small, but I just choose to check this time. Luckily, low jack fires out a snap bet of 80. Cutoff makes the call. When it gets back to me, I think raising is insane, so I just make the call. Off to a turn, which is the ace of hearts. Check it over, low jack checks, and cutoff checks behind. Off to a river, which is the 8 of clubs. I should have probably just put out a very small bet here. Low jack clearly has some pocket pair above 7s. And cutoff is never going to bet. He checked back trips on like a very dry board after bombing the flop. Like, he's not going to bet anything that isn't like a full house. And he might even check that back. But I checked it over, and unfortunately it does check through. I show low jack actually had pocket queens, and she decided to trap this time because she felt bad that she 3-bet me with queens and kings 4 times in a row. On to the final hand. We have pocket 9s and the low jack. I raise things up to 20 and get a caller from the cutoff, button, and the big blind. So we are going 4 ways to a flop. It's really nice. It's 7, 6, 4, 2 hearts. Good board for my hand, but really bad for my overall range. So when it checks to me, I'm going to just 100% check here. Gets to the button, who now fires out a pot-sized bet of 80. Player to my right in the big blind makes the call, and now it's back on me. I asked him how much he's got behind. He's got about just over 400-ish after this bet, so total about $500 in his stack on the flop. And as I asked him, he just looked really nervous. He just didn't like to be asked it. Yeah, I'm just getting like some really weak vibes from him. So normally I would just check call here in this situation facing this size and a big blind overcall, but I just don't think he has anything here. It really looks like he's got maybe 6-5, a flush draw, maybe ace-7, some sort of 1-pair type hand. I just don't think we're ever beat here. Big blind, if he had a hand like 2-pair plus, he would definitely be raising on this board. It'd be crazy to trap here. So all that being said, I ship it all in for 980. Button snap folds out of turn, so read was right. Cutoff's in the tank for a bit, and then folds. Button's already folded, and then big blind snap calls. This session. That's not good. I'm just hoping he's got 6-5 of hearts or something. I roll it over. We go to a turn, doesn't improve my hand. Deuce of diamonds, river, 5 of spades. My opponent shows the 7-6 offsuit. And that is it. That is all the money brought to the casino. Thanks for watching, you guys. So that is it for the California portion of my road trip. Pretty brutal session. I lost $2,904, I think. My biggest single loss in a session ever. That's nearly 4,000 Canadian. But honestly, I'm up too much for the last 3 weeks to even care about it. I was happy leaving the casino. It didn't affect me, so... I played about 10 sessions in California. I won 7 out of 10 of them for a total profit of $5,516 with an hourly rate of 150 something. Just ridiculous results in California. I'm really excited to play the 5-10 games here in Vegas. I don't think I'm going to be playing them too often. Maybe just the Bellagio 5-10 on Friday, Saturday nights when I do drive into the Strip. Otherwise, I think I'm mostly going to stick around at Red Rock, as it's only 10-15 minutes away, and I think they have 2-5 running pretty much every single day. If not, I will probably make the trip down to the Strip every day, but I'll figure it out. I've got about a month here, and I will see you guys all in the next video.